Okay. So uh, December 1st, I'll just do it really quickly. You reflect on how my movements, my independent actions and movements are affecting myself and everyone around me. Do the 7 arm ring segments. It's the gift of uprightness that was brought back in the Lumerian age as the Nathan soul was permeated for the first time by the Christ. This is so the Nathan soul being the the Jesus boy that was born from the Nathan line of David. So there was 2 lines that are described in the scriptures, one from Solomon and one from Nathan. And as I pointed out in our session work, that this is one of the areas that people criticize the scriptures for being non-factual, because you can't have one person have 2 lineages. And so, okay, well, you can't. It's true, and there were 2 of them. And so, which is just the logic of it. Um, and so one of them came from the Nathan line, and so there's this soul that incarnated in the Nathan line in that particular Jesus, which is being referred to here, that was in the spiritual world, and that particular soul was permeated by Christ, the Logos, in the last third of the Lumerian age, and that's the reflection for that week. And so then in the second week, starting December 8th, it's now the etheric body. The permeation happens in the beginning of the Atlantean epoch, and it brings order into speech. And I reflect upon, how is my uh, tonality um, uh, uh, impacting the people around me. And part of that construct is, at that time, in this Atlantean time beginning, we really didn't have a language. There was mostly just, sounds of pleasure and pain, and like a baby. And so, and it wasn't organized. So does my tonality and my words unify or divide? Continue working on the segments, and then December 15th, the astral body, emotional feeling, the end of the Atlantean period. The Nathan Jesus is permeated again by the Christ and brings order into speech. So we have an objective language. And so, how well am I using this developed right speech? Do I illuminate or create discord with it? And so, all the way back to the first one, it's like the movement. My speech is still a movement. It's everything is incorporated here, everything built upon itself. So the words are vibratory, and they create out in the world. And so, am I building illumination or creating discord? Are those independent actions or movements with my right speech? Um, uh, um, how is it affecting the people around me? How's it affecting myself, and how is it affecting people around me? Does it wound or heal? Does it strengthen or weaken? And so, as we go through the week, and we begin to unlock the energetic areas of our body that are constricted with different emotional traumas, and doing process work around any of those as needed. So this way, it can release me to have a clearer involvement in these areas. So that December 22nd is the 4th week, and it's going to be a really abbreviated week, right? So, because it's actually starting right in the middle of the 3-day initiation. And of course, it's abbreviated because then the Holy Nights start on the 24th. And I think what this is saying is we really are beginning to enter into this 4th permeation, which happened with Christ, into the actual Nathan soul that was incarnated, this Nathan soul Jesus of that particular line, which directly led to the mystery of Golgotha. And so we're still chewing on and incorporating this. And so our exercises are observe quality of inner life of thought? How has right thinking been illuminated? Examining the elemental beings that we create with our thoughts. Degree, falling in to what degree? Am I falling into reactive thought patterns versus being fully conscious? And the whole process is trying to lead to us self-remembering and waking up. So the neat little story that Gilbert talks, and I don't think we're going to, he might discuss that in there, so perhaps I could wait. If we don't hear it, I'll bring it up. About creating elemental beings. And so depending on how substantiated the thought form is, like if I have it a lot, one of the, he probably will bring this up, but he might not, one of the rules, so the number 3 is for the etheric body, and if I want to substantiate something in the etheric body, I have to do it 3 times. And so if I go to bed every night, 3 nights in a row with the same question or the same query or something like that, then it's substantiated, and then I can actually receive an answer for that. And you might be surprised how non-simple that is to maintain the focus to do it 3 nights in a row. I've tried, and I've succeeded, but it's not often. It sounds easier than it is. So this the reason I'm saying that is every time I'm having a substantiated thought, there's actually elemental beings that are being created. And Steiner would talk about that thoughts are things. Thoughts aren't just thoughts, and that people have thoughts. One can have thoughts that they would never fulfill those actions in the material world because they're wrong thoughts or out of balance thoughts, not considering that those thoughts are energy waves and then are creating in the material world. If I substantiate those thoughts, either negatively or positively, negatively with obsessive, destructive thoughts, and I can create elemental beings that will be fed by those dark thoughts and will, it's like a vicious circle at that point, that they'll feed back into me those same. But likewise, if I'm creating beneficial light-bearing elemental beings, that it feeds back in the same manner. And so, yeah, here's what I did today for the most part, was to create these 2 charts. The weeks of Advent. I think one of the encapsulating thoughts is to be aware of the natural impulses moving to express in my physical body, and any counter pulsation is trying to hold back those pulsations. So the example, energy rising from the belly to the throat to express speech, but we choke back the words, pushing it back down into the belly. So if I catch myself in that, then I can work on, what's there is the blockage, and where is the root of that, and that can, that type of process work is multifaceted. There's no specified path of how to do that, and of course we've worked in those areas, so I don't need to belabor that. So starting Sunday, which is tomorrow, at the organ that's laid out here, organ armoring focus, and the I am sayings. And so the armoring focus, this is what I meditate on, trying to unwind and to release. So as Gilbert probably will talk about and what we're going to listen to, if I can't unlock it, there's a chance that if I clamp it down even harder, that will help to loosen it up so I can let go of it. So literally, physically in the body, on a muscular area that's um, having an issue, if I, you know, restrict it even further and clamp down even further, this might actually help jog it loose. And the I am sayings, let's see, we need to dissolve, alchemically solve these sayings into their essential spiritual nature, uh, thereby having a direct conscious experience of the spiritual reality that the word represents. And so the intent or the focus is to become a master of the full cyclical um, uh, nature of the movement from spirit into matter and back to spirit again. I'm not going to say that I can help you fully understand that one, and nor was there a whole bunch of discussion on it in the class to fully understand it, and partly because uh, it's like a self-initiation process where I begin to do the work and then receive more insight from the spiritual world, and then it builds upon itself as I learn what this means, that it's a packed thought form that I have to unpack and then repack, a part of rejoining it back into the spiritual world. So I think we talked about that. Steiner, wrong button. Steiner had mentioned the different, and I think other practices or viewpoints have the same flower, lotus petal flower construct for the different chakras or something similar to it or related to it. So each chakra area is a focus of the day, and the I am saying is corresponding as well. So tomorrow would be I am the resurrection and the life, raising Lazarus from the dead at Bethany. And so what's involved with that? So one of the things that I've gotten is, every morning we do resurrect. We re-enter the crown chakra. We left it the night before at the crown chakra. Our guardians keep the body going through the night because it's just a physical and etheric there, and it needs the spiritual and I am bodies in order to, or the mental, emotional, and I am bodies to keep going, to live. And so each day is a resurrection. That's, how I begin to understand some of these. So Sunday, the head, muscles around the eye sockets, top of the head, forehead, sides of the neck, muscles at the atlas, just simply by putting my awareness to these areas and seeing, what vibration is there. I probably should turn off my camera so that's not a part of the scope. Yeah, that makes it helpful. So this restricts us to the higher centers, the higher hierarchies and the communications with those hierarchies. And so the practice is to put one's awareness on those areas. So someone did text Basheen, yes?
She did text back, and she's really, really busy right now for preparing for her presentation. She wishes she could be here, though.
Okay, good. I just wanted to double check. We're recording it for. So Monday, the mouth, lips, tongue, jaw, muscles connecting the jaw to the back of the neck. Oops, somebody forgot something. It's a leftover. I'll go back and fill that in. I don't know if I can do that now while we're talking. So, did Clinton make it in? He didn't email back, did he? So was I supposed to contact him? Anybody know? Okay, so he didn't really say if he was coming or not. Okay. So, down to Advent here. Oh, I thought I put that in there. Oh, Monday. Oh, there wasn't anything for Monday. There was no indications there. Sometimes there wasn't an indication of what it corresponded to. So, yeah, forehead, 2-petal lotus. So how I do is I visualize, as I go through my chakra system, I use a pranic healing technique, which is a simple technique to tell the chakra to shift. Often I have found that folks will have their chakras like divided in half, and they'll have shifted out from the central column of energy, which basically runs along the spinal cord, and so it'll be divided in half, and if the person puts their awareness on where it's supposed to go, like forehead, and says third eye chakra shift, then that center will then condense back into the central column of energy location and reside. It corrects that spinning out motion that the vast majority of people have from the stresses of life, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. And so I say to each of the chakras, shift. Does anybody want me to update this to put that in there? What I'm talking about? If not, it's okay. Be offended. But then I say shift to it, and I actually tell the 2-petal lotus. Okay, Ben. 2-petal lotus to spin clockwise. And then I tell it to fill with the light, different light I could pick. I could say the white light of Christ, or I could pick the white light of the particular spiritual hierarchy that it's associated with that chakra. And maybe I can add that here too. So for the crown and third eye or forehead, I should call this third eye because that's what most people know it as, right? Is the Lamb of God and Aries, constellation of Aries. And so I could ask, that the white light of the Lamb of God to fill those chakras. And likewise, I can do that with, it's the Holy Spirit for the larynx. And so Tuesday, the throat, again, just putting my attention to that area, see if there's a restriction, feel if there's tension, and the front holding back tears, sadness, pain, the sides holding back anger, the back holding back fear, and it's the 16-petal lotus. I am the good shepherd. I'm always reminded of a song that we used to sing at church a long time ago when I was doing stuff like that. You know, thy word is a lamp unto my path and a light, or something like that. And a light into my path, a lamp unto my feet, and a light into my path. It's out of Psalms, I think. And so the word, the spoken word, becomes that which guides and leads, is the good shepherd. The walking on water. I'll let you figure that one out. So Wednesday, the shoulders, arms, hands, rib cage, feelings of the heart. The 12 petal lotus chakra is the heart chakra. I am the bread of life. Feeding of the 5,000. Thursday, the diaphragm under the lungs, the abdomen. This is a breathing rhythm in the core. Emotional blockages are residing here. It's the solar plexus. It's the constellation of Virgo. The hierarchy is the Caratites, which is the spirits of wisdom. But this is also the area of focus or activity of the Sophia. So as an Anthroposophia. So the being of Sophia has her area of focus with the Virgo. And in kind of the discussion that Douglas goes into is that, it rules over all the other hierarchies from, there are guides or leads, I should say, the other hierarchies from that sphere. So this is the doorway to the entire being of the person. So Friday, muscles of the abdomen and lower back. It's the pelvic chakra, or I think it's it's typically called sex or sacral, right? And it's a 6-petal lotus. I'm the way, the truth, and the life. Healing of the nobleman's son. And that Scorpio is the constellation. Then Saturday is the pelvis, hips, perineum, genitals, anus, buttocks, legs, and feet. Fundamental life energy. The ability to connect to the earth, ground, recharge. The base chakra, 4-petal lotus. I am the true vine. I mean, that one to me is easy to feel into. The vine system that grounds itself into the earth. Then there's the water into wine, which is this transmutation of the water, or the alchemical effect, the alchemical process that took place. And so this is Scorpio, and this one doesn't particularly have a hierarchical association, and I connect this to the Christos because it's to the earth, and part of one of Gilbert's meditative processes, where you're sitting square in a chair, and I haven't typed this out yet, and you're doing the Darth Vader restrictive breathing that builds this energy resonance at the throat, at the larynx, that can propagate throughout the body and clear these areas. Part of that meditation process is to connect. Imagine one connecting as deeply, or feel connecting as deeply as one can into the earth. And, I try to feel into the center of the earth, into the Christos. So I always connect to the Christos at the base chakra. And in some of this discussion, I'll add to here. How are we doing so far? So then comes the winter solstice, this 3-day winter initiation, the thinking, feeling, and willing, areas of focus. These like centered. 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. The my actions and meditations. I should just say meditations. I should say my actions. Illuminate my thoughts with full consciousness. So that's kind of like, is somebody talking? Did I miss something? Illuminate my emotional feelings with full consciousness. And so the work there for me is it's kind of like there's no unthinking behavior that I was talking about before, is that if I'm having a thought, thinking about why I'm thinking that thought, it's like, where is that thought coming from? Is it my thought? Is it somebody else's thought? Is this a projected thought? What's the usefulness of this thought? And things of this nature is what, kind of how I approach it. And then finally, illuminate my actions with full consciousness. So what I have noticed going through this, the many years, is that these areas will come up to be challenged. Something is going to potentially provoke this unconscious behavior. This way I could see it, So something will happen on the 22nd that has a reactive reaction or reactive emotional thing happen with me. So this way I can see, oh wait, there's something there that's not fully conscious that I have to work on to have it conscious. And or an action the same, realizing they kind of lead to one another. Feelings lead to feelings, which leads to willings. And so for the 21st again, observations of the elemental beings I am creating with my thinking. I'll hold over. The exercise there is to open up the energy channel up the front of the body, back of the body. Coccyx to over the head to the upper gum, the governing vessel. Everyone here I think understands that. For the 22nd, open up the energy channel up the front of the body, from the perineum to the lower lip. I have gotten this incorrect because I was already typically thinking in this third one down below, which is something I try to practice on a daily basis at times, which is open up the energy channel up the center of the body from the perineum to the crown, but then join that to the microcosmic orbit. I think, I'm not sure where Gilbert has gotten that term from, but I think it's from this ISIS school that we haven't talked about. And I'd have to find the book here to go into fuller detail. The school he spent the year with. Anyways, it's a big aside. So the microcosmic orbit is basically pulling up the Kundalini energy up the base, from the base of the spine, up the governing vessel. And hold on, I got a text from somebody. I want to make sure it wasn't. No, it's okay. Anyways. So pulling up the Kundalini energy from the base of the spine, up the governing vessel, over the top of the head, and then connecting it to the conception vessel and going down. So I have always missed going up the front of the body on the day 22, the second day, the feelings. So to raise this energy up in the other direction is what I'm supposed to be doing on the 22nd. But on the 23rd, there's this microcosmic orbit that can be circulated around, or it can be brought up and brought down and stored in the Hara area as a energy creation device. So on the 22nd, let's go back. open up the energy channel up the front of the body, from the perineum to the lower lip. Conceptual vessel, when I touch the tip of the tongue to the roof of my mouth, I make this L sound. This is actually word order. And that's that same L, make an L sound. Which is the L sound of many sacred words, sacred names, connected to the divine names. And this is what's called a BG3 generator. BG means biogeometry. 3 is the 0 point energy, the energy that is found at the center, basically found at the center of a circle, a sphere. But just think of it as the energy found at the center, and the central point of a sphere, like your cranium, the pineal gland, the central point is a gateway, but it's also it's a resonator of this scalar waves, meaning waves that are outside time and space, frequency with them, that come at the center of the circle. And there's 3 qualities there, 3. BG3 meaning the 3 qualities that biogeometry discusses as the energies at the center of the circle. Which I could put them in here, maybe that would be helpful for folks. It's the higher harmonic of orange. Harmonic ultraviolet, violet, and negative green. Just to do a little biogeometry. Oops. So those are the 3, just to at least let you know what they are, even though it may not make sense. Okay, so the 3rd day, whoops, sorry. Again, illuminating my actions with full conscious beings I'm creating with those actions, the energy channel up the center of the body from the perineum to the crown, and joining that, it's called the thrusting channel, joining that to this microcosmic orbit, which does this circle. All right, any questions, comments so far? Anybody
So
awake?
Paul, I want to ask you really quick. Are we talking about the microcosmic orbit of Qigong?
It could be, yeah. If I've described it, is that what it is? Comes
It's
up
like
the back?
the outer limbs moving. It's the outer limbs? Or is this something different?
The outer limbs, meaning arms and legs?
Yes.
Well, I'm just wondering if whatever you're doing there in Qigong, and I'm not familiar with it because I haven't studied it, is not trying to follow this energy flow that is happening. I don't know.
Okay.
Or create that flow with this microcosmic orbit. Is it where you visualize a raising a ball?
Yeah, you're moving the energy.
But what's the physical movements? You have your arms in front of you, your hands cupped, and you raise this energy ball up, around, and then up?
Yes, I think it's like that.
Yes.
Okay.
So this would be a practice so part of it would be doing those movements, but also being consciously aware of pulling up this energy from the Kundalini. I don't just do it from the Kundalini. I try to connect all the way to the Krestos and pull the Krestos energy up into the Kundalini energy and mix them two together and bring that over up the back. It's golden light, and the Krestos energy is uniting with the Sophia sun in the center of the earth. And so pulling up the golden light of that sun into my own Kundalini golden light and pulling that up over the top of the head and that back down, and then recycling it back down. And I think that's the same thing you're doing as you're visualizing this ball or holding your hands in a spherical form and pulling that up, and then the arms go out and come back down to the side to the original position, right? Something like that?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, so you can incorporate that movement with this consciousness.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Perhaps I need to detail that what's not described here, isn't it?
Mm-mm.
That's what it is, but it's really, really abbreviated. So I could describe that a little more fully. Yes. Okay, so where we are at is we've gotten through the winter solstice initiation. It brings us directly to the Holy Nights in my little condensed format. In that, of course, the Holy Nights are mostly there. It's a little backwards, but I have dyslexia, so that's how I do it. So the Holy Nights are kind of encapsulated here. It's not all the data in the book, but it's all there. And going from the 24th. So when it says the 24th, maybe that's what I need to do here is do 24th. Would be more exactly? So like evening 24th to being I know to type 25th, and that would probably be more. Can I do it without destroying the whole form? I can, but I'd have to make everything move over. So that's kind of the concept. Now, I had a suggestion that would actually work even better. That we could, it depends on, if we need to, we could go over this again and maybe listen to some of Gilbert's, 15 minutes of Gilbert's discussion on this, because he doesn't go into every day explicitly. He does a few days, and he does highlight the New Year's Eve or New Year's. Of course, noting that nothing starts on the 1st. Not a new year from any particular standpoint, but it is a very powerful time of year to connect with these particular spiritual forming. The Elohim are the spirits of form, and they release us into having a interaction for the coming year in a very powerful way. So what we can do now is listen to the Eagle and Advent. They're around 20 here.
A gradual structuring process.
How was that?
I can't hear anything, Paul.
Oh, no?
No.
No one can hear anything? How about now?
Nope. Silence.
No. Nada. Really?
Really?
Okay. Nothing?
Nope. Only on the edges of your voice. So it sounds like the noise canceling for Skype is canceling it.
Oh. You didn't have this problem before. How about now?
Nope. Can't hear anything.
Still nothing.
Right. Still nothing. Were you playing it from an external player last time?
Yeah, this is what we're doing.
Huh. Weird. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you're being canceled. Maybe you have to. I don't know. Oh no. Yeah.
Let me think for a second. I wasn't prepared for that. Let me think. Not sure why you wouldn't be hearing anything.
Well, if it's coming out the same speakers my voice is coming out, Skype is going to be using that to filter it away from the microphone.
Oh, hey, everybody mute. Then you just chat with me. Everybody mute. Is everybody muted? Okay, I'm assuming everybody's muted. How about now, Ben? No? No? Okay. Let's it's not gonna work.